Connecting to storage now. Here we go. Okay, we're officially live. Jacob, welcome to Success Sundays, everybody. I cannot wait to share with you the jam-packed episode that we have today. I'm one of your hosts, Oscar Chavez.
And I'm Jacob Galea.
And we look forward to really hosting you today. And the topic, we're going to talk about a couple of topics today, but we wanted to come in here and discuss beast mode. Jacob, what the hell is beast mode?
Yeah, look, it's I've been talking to some really wealthy business people around the world in the last week, okay? And I've had mentoring sessions with them, and we've had some good incubator sessions and some great think tank sessions, and something's come to the surface which is really interesting, Oscar, and it's why are some people right now through COVID-19 doing really, really well, and other people are absolutely falling over and losing everything. And the common answer that came up about with these guys, Oscar, was that the players right now are in beast mode. They are working harder and faster now than ever before, and they've got this extra edge to them because, we were talking that it's one thing to build a business and one thing to build a brand and one thing to build an empire, Oscar, but it's another thing to keep it. So, beast mode and really waking up that inner beast with you to be hungrier than ever before, the time is right now. How are you finding people at the moment and their attitudes, Oscar?
Man, I'm finding people on two different camps. One side of the camp is they cannot take their eyes off the news and the negativity that's going on. I mean, I'm gonna be really honest, and I wanted to actually talk about one of the struggles that I had this week. Because to get to beast mode, there's a ton of stuff, there's a ton of shit you have to ignore. And if you don't ignore it, you cannot get into beast mode. One of those things is negativity. Like I see this propagating so much with people. They're talking about, oh, look, I can't believe Trump slipped up this way, or I can't believe, this has been mismanaged. And it takes their focus off their goals, their aspirations, their dreams, and they're not focused. So that's one camp. And they're the people, I know exactly what's going to happen to those people. They're going to potentially they're going to go backwards in a significant way, or they're going to lose everything. Because like you said, it is so much easier to get successful than to stay successful. Because once you're staying successful, you've got more risk. You've got people trying to clip at you. You've got people take advantage of you. You've got people trying to steal from you. You've got people trying to, trying to attack you. That's what happens when you get successful, right? But then you've got the other camp, the people that are going into beast mode, the people that are going, you know what? This is the greatest opportunity of a lifetime. And they're doubling down, they're creating their plans, and they're going into relentless execution. And they're the people that excite me, Jacob.
Absolutely. And Oscar, it's funny that you say that because, the business people I'm talking around the world are saying that it's the 3 to 5% of people now that are really entering beast mode that are doing something. And, I think what's really important is, to have a think about right now, what am I doing in this time? And am I being the best version of me in this time? And what am I bringing to the table at this time? Like, now's the time to read. Now's the time to study. I mean, I've been reading Sun Tzu's Art of War around the clock for the last, the last 5, 6, 7 days. I've had this in my bookshelf for years and I always read it, but lately it's like now you really are required to understand the art of war. It's about, appear strong where you're really weak and really understand, about strategy and tactical dispositions. And now's the time to put your head in books and study and bring out that art of war within you, because let's not bullshit. Business is a war. And my mentor talks about that a lot. That says business is a war. And anyone that doesn't realize that is an absolute moron. Because there are people fighting for your money, there are people fighting for your positions, there's people fighting for your career. And unless you learn how to operate on that battlefield, and look, you don't go on the battlefield to come home in a body bag. You go on the battlefield to survive and to win. Think about it. It's either win or die on a battlefield, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless someone has that mentality, okay, that it's win or die, then they're never going to be successful. It's like, Australia is a really good country because it supports losers. Oh yeah, don't worry, you're out of work. We'll give from the government. So the people go, oh, I'll be good. I can get $1,500 or whatever it is a fortnight, and I'm going to be looked after. No, what they should do is make you how to be an entrepreneur, to not rely on anyone, and learn how to make a money machine.
What's the downside, Jacob? If people don't get into beast mode, what's the downside?
Look, there's some real dangers going on at the moment, Oscar, that people are falling to really a rabbit hole for some people that are getting in is getting really, really deep right now. And the danger is that that's going to get so deep that they're not going to be able to get out of it. And not just financially, but I'm talking mentally and emotionally and physically, and they're not going to be able to find the energy to get up out of bed and go and start again. They're not going to find the mentality to want to beat this, and their emotional intelligence is going to be absolutely ruined. So there's a lot of dangers to this, Oscar.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was listening to Robert Kiyosaki this week, and he was saying that he earned more in the last global financial crisis than he had earned in the past 20 years combined, because there is opportunity everywhere. And the opportunity is created from the people that don't get into beast mode, the people that have gone asleep at the wheel, the people that have not hedged their finances properly, the people that are over leveraged in terms of debt, the people that aren't focused on cash flow and they're buying assets for future growth rather than cash flow right now. And so there is an abundance of people that are going to lose right now if they don't get into beast mode, if they don't get more productive, if they don't think of better ways to do things. And I think that is part of this pandemic that happens when we have a global economy shut down, that certain industries will potentially collapse. I mean, if you look at Virgin Airways, they've now filed for administration because they can't operate like this. There's so many people at home, they can't continue to pay these wages, and so they've decided to go under administration. So this is the new lay of the land, and we've got to adapt. We've got to adapt. If not, we die, and that is really the problem that people could find themselves in right now. Jacob, for the people that can't wake themselves up and get into beast mode, I mean, because it takes, like, does it take, from your perspective, does it take effort to get into beast mode? Like, what's your mindset like when you're going, you know what, I'm going to get into beast mode? Or do you just always feel beast mode 100% of the time? You're always motivated and there's just miracles everywhere?
Absolutely not. Look, it takes a hell of a lot of effort to get into beast mode, and it takes a hell of a lot of commitment, and it takes a hell of a lot of courage and boldness to get into beast mode and stay into beast mode. But, you know, for the people watching this, if you're not in beast mode and you want to get into beast mode, there's a couple of things you can do. Number one is find someone in your network that is a really positive go-getter, because then you'll find they're not affected by this, and talk to them about their mindset. Talk to them about what they're reading, what they're watching, okay? You know, train go for a run, do some push-ups, do some dips, get your endorphins pumping through your body. Feel that pump, right? Read a really good book, listen to a really good song that pumps you up. But the biggest thing is to think about your why. Like, why are you doing this? What's your end game? Because if you keep your eyes on the prize, if you say, look, my why is to set up an empire for my children so that when they turn 21, they both get a property each, they both get a head start, they're both educated, then it keeps your eyes on the prize and why you're doing this. So you've really got to identify your why here and run to it. Like, run now more than ever, because people are trying to take people's, possessions now more than ever in this very tight, aggressive environment.
Yeah, absolutely. And there can't be economic prosperity forever. It just doesn't work. And so part of my why, Jacob, has really been to ensure that the things in my control aren't affected by the things outside of my control. And so what does that mean? We're always going to go through economic issues. The economy could collapse in any country, or we might experience fluctuations. And we never want to be in a position where the economy is impacting our ability to earn and our ability to make income. And I know, because I've done the hard work of building several businesses, losing them, shutting down, being over leveraged in debt. I've been through that experience before, where it's like, as you try to build success, you build too high, too fast, and it all comes crumbling down if you don't have the right mechanics in place. And so for years, I've been obsessed with, how do you remain consistently performant? Because like you said, there's no point in being inconsistently performing, because that hurts even more. So let's say you work for 5 years and you build an empire, you build a multi-million-dollar brand, let's say, and then all of a sudden something happens in the economy and the 5 years worth of work that you put into it is all gone. And that's what Success Sundays is all about. It's about, how do you achieve long-term sustainable performance so that you can have financial growth for many years to come. And I think for me, that's the most important thing. What would you say is really important to you, Jacob?
Yeah, look, I think you raise a really good point there around, it takes a really long time to build something. Like your success is a marathon. It's a long game. I think that the biggest thing here is to learn and understand about the lessons. Okay, what lessons are you learning through this that can make you build a stronger, better business or brand? Because I've learned already I reckon I've learned 50 new lessons, and I've learned 50 new tools I can be using in my business and my coaching and my practice, that when this is over and I go back into work mode and go back into boardroom mode and get back on planes and travel, that I'm going to bring an even better version of me, because I've now understood what COVID-19's done to people. I've learned some new skills, and I want to bring this to the market now. So I think what's really important is what are you learning through this? And as I said before, Oscar, like, what are you doing to educate yourself? Like, what are you doing now to learn so you can earn?
Yeah, absolutely. And Jacob, you have a family with you as well. So how do you deal with the juggling of your business, your endeavors, the family? Like, I mean, because I'm seeing a lot of people spending more time with their family, not being used to spending time with their family. A lot of executives that I know go to work to escape their family. So, there's this dichotomy there where it's like the more time you spend with someone, perhaps you don't like them as much as you thought you would, and they get on your nerves all the time. How do you deal with that kind of environment in the home?
Yeah, again, let's take it back to connectedness. I mean, this is a time now to connect with those around us on a level that we've never had. I mean, if you look at our normal working life, I'm up at 5 a.m. I'm out the door by 6:30, and sometimes, I'm back home 11 p.m. Okay, so sometimes there's nights where I don't see the kids. What you got to think about here is the connectedness around what this is doing, is because there's never been a time in history when we've had so much time at home. And what we should be doing, as well as working, I'm still working really hard now, but you should take advantage of those moments, because life's about creating two things: memories and moments. So you can still work at home and you can still be with the family, but as long as you're creating memories and moments. For me, it's not about being at home all the time. What it's about is quality over quantity. That when you are home, it's quality. It's not someone that a dad's pushing their son on a swing on the BlackBerry doing 50 emails and not even seeing his son fall off. For me, what it's about is quality. If you're going to be there in quality, and then when you're working, be there in beast mode and quality, and know how to level that ground out.
Yeah, I love that. And you refer to something that we spoke about in the first episode of Success Sundays, and that was really about bringing intention, being less accidental, being less reactive and more proactive. And so when you say, the connectedness and being there, creating moments with your family, I think that is the most important thing, and what separates high performers from low performers. Because if you're a high performer, what you're involved in, you are fully present in doing, because otherwise you miss the moment. So if you've got delegated time or dedicated time to spend with your family, you got to spend that time with your family. Don't allow the distractions to come. If you're dedicating time on doing a proposal, do that proposal. If you're dedicating time to writing a business plan, write that business plan. Because if not, again, you won't extract the maximum value out of that particular endeavor. And
Absolutely.
So if you're out there creating memories with I love that saying. I do it as well with my family. It's like, I'm thinking, we're walking, we're doing something, and I'm thinking to myself, well, how do I create a moment out of this? How do I create a memory out of this so we're all going to look back on, we're all going to reflect, and we're all going to have a good time, rather than just being there, scrolling through my newsfeed, or rather than worrying about what Trump's doing and worrying about the rest of the world. It's like, what's going on in here and what's going on with my family. And I love that you referenced that, Jacob. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, look, it's a really important point. And when I do a lot of traveling, a lot of people ask me, even my media interviews, like, how do you do it? You catch 16 planes a month domestically, you travel internationally. How do you do it? It's like, well, it's quality. Like, and that's the key. It's bringing a full version of you into everything that you do. So, and no disruptions. When I'm doing an email, or when I'm doing a consulting assignment, or when I'm doing something or I'm in the gym. When I'm in the gym, my phone's off. I'm there to train. I'm there to dedicate. I can't be in the gym and do text messages and do emails. Like, I'm in and out. And that's the part of life that people have to learn, is when you're on a task, give it all you've got. finish it. If you need to take a break, then to do some calls, some emails, great. Then go on to your next task. And, now there's often times, as I said to you in one of our Success Sundays, that I hit that flight mode button on my phone and I take time out, whether it's to do transcendental meditation or whether it's to read The Art of War or books or whether it's to do a branding exercise. But you've got to switch off, because if you don't, if you don't refuel the car with petrol, it will run out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I referenced the Maslow's hierarchy of needs for, a lot to really help to help people understand what it is that creates fulfillment in people's lives. And I've been reflecting on Maslow a little bit this week. And what I'm realizing is that there are several selves that we all have. There are several multiple potentials that we all have within us, right? We have the potential to be great. We have the potential to enter into beast mode. We have the potential to stay in beast mode. We have the potential to reap the rewards of the hard work that beast mode takes. Because, if you think about, the transformation of the Incredible Hulk, there is a huge amount of energy expended in order to achieve greatness or to achieve Hulk mode or to achieve beast mode. And it's the same with our lives. Like you said, you've got a routine, you get up at a certain time, you go to bed at a certain time, and you keep that routine. And for me, that routine allows me to stay grounded in beast mode. Now, I wanted to cover one thing. We've got a couple of minutes left. There was a news article today which talked about how the CMO is dead. I've seen so many chief marketing officers in business get fired. And what they're saying is now that the chief experience officer, so not the CEO, but the chief experience officer needs to step in. What does a CEO need to do in order to adapt to that change, Jacob?
Yeah, look, when I read that article as well that you sent, I think it's a very interesting play of words. I think now, it's interesting how they're talking about the chief experience officer now. For me, I've been coaching for the last 15 years on the only thing that you can do in business is give your customers an experience and make an impact. I think that, the thing is, Oscar, is that it's 24/7 in the business. If you don't, and thing is, it's not up to the chief experience officer, the chief executive officer. When I go into large organizations as a consultant, whether you're a receptionist, you're a cleaner that's on the floor, or you're a C-level, that every time a customer walks into a business, let's talk about an office for a moment, and someone greets that customer, I don't care of their title, CMO, CEO, CFO, or cleaner. What I care about is everyone they come in contact with gets an amazing experience. And I think now, the media is trying to take a play on words in a place where there's no experience because everyone's at home. I think it just brings to surface the importance of an experience and an impact in a business. The only thing, if you're a business owner, you're an executive watching this, the only thing you should be focusing on all the time that is always front of mind is how you give a customer an experience and how you make impact. And it's not just external customers. I was with a customer not long ago and I walked in and they were having an internal bidder between two staff members. And I said to that person, do you realize that your first and foremost number one customer is your internal staff? So it's you go internal before you go external. So look, for me, Oscar, an experience and impact in a business is a 24/7 job and a 24/7 mantra. It's not something that someone with a title switches on or off, or it's something that the whole company culture and DNA must adapt every day.
Absolutely. It has to, and it starts in the mind. Like we talk about mindset so much, but it does start in the mind. You have to have that acknowledgement that everything you do is critically important. And the thing that I see a lot when I go into large organizations is a lack of architecture, whether it's a lack of security architecture, whether it's a lack of customer experience architecture, but you've got to be the architect of the strategy. You have to understand how you want to make your customers feel. You've got to understand the customer journey that you want your customers to go through. You've got to understand what products they're going to buy at different times and how they're going to upsell and how they're going to be supported and how they're going to be spoken to so that they can get the optimal experience. And I think if we all ascend to a higher level and focus on those architectural paradigms and say, how do we create amazing experiences in every single thing that we do, in every move we make, in every decision we take, that is going to help you get the competitive advantage to create great experiences. Now, if you don't create great experiences, you don't get into beast mode, your business struggles, you can't scale it, it has a lack of cash flow because the customers just aren't buying enough, and the customers that you do have aren't referring you to other people for more business. So it's all in the basics. You know, we've talked about getting up at a certain time. We've talked about exercising. We've talked about reading and getting educated. We've talked about what experiences you need to create, and success is all in the basics. But people, like we've been saying, Jacob, people get so distracted and they work on stuff that doesn't matter and doesn't move the needle.
I think, you know, there's an acronym that I use, which is an IPO, is that you need to be using an IPO, which is an income producing opportunity. An income producing opportunity, look at your diary and go, how many IPOs are in my diary? And if you got to make sure that everything you do is income producing, not time wasting opportunities. If you have a look at most people's diaries, look at their day as an executive coach, they're wasting 6 hours of an 8-hour day doing absolutely jack shit. What they should be doing is focusing on IPOs, income producing opportunities. Because at the end of the day, if you can get your income producing increments, about lawyers, finance people who charge out at hourly rates and time capsules, that's business. And everybody should be focusing on the income producing opportunities 24/7 their day. Even if you're study something that's going to produce an income for you.
Absolutely. I agree with that. The freedom is in the calendar. It's not, you're not shackled to a calendar. The freedom is in the calendar, because then you can schedule your freedom. Yeah. Jacob, that's all we have time for on Success Sundays. I want you to just tell people quickly what it is that you do and how they can get access to you.
Absolutely. So I'm a success coach and executive coach, guys. I do motivational speaking, jacobgalea.com, or on Instagram, Jacob Galea Official. And over to you, Oscar.
Thank you very much. I run Growthly Marketing, the leader in helping you get quality clients. And I thank you very much for joining us on the Success Sunday. And I cannot wait to host you again next Sunday. Thank you, everyone, so much for your time. See you later.
Thanks, guys.